Hey there, what's going on? This video is just a little bit of a catch-up session. So I'll let you know what's been going on around here at BMC headquarters over the past couple weeks. I finished the tower, and that was a huge undertaking. And if you're really into that series and you want to see more tower, have no fear. There's a couple more additions I want to make to it, so I will be revisiting it again at some point. Just to do some little more finishing details, okay? Other than that, it's been a lot of housekeeping and other little creative ventures coming to a close. All of which are really exciting to me and that I've mentioned at various times, but I've never been able to take a moment to really just focus on with you. And that's what I want to do today. It's been a very musical time period for me. If you watch this channel regularly, you've probably heard me mention at some point that pre-YouTube, I used to be a musician. And I guess I can now technically say that I still am because I've written and released a bunch of music recently. Now in the past, I've released several albums under 2 different projects. I've released vinyls, I've released CDs, I've released tapes, that whole thing. But that part of my life has kind of been sitting on a shelf, sort of just on hiatus for many years now. Basically as long as this channel's existed. So it's really exciting to get back in the music writing and production seat on 2 big projects that I've wrapped up. The first is the Idols of Torment soundtrack. My partner JP and I finally finished it. That is the last deliverable from the Idols of Torment Kickstarter. People have already had their physical product for a while now, but the vinyl record and the soundtrack is the last piece. We finished it. We sat in at a 2-day mastering session. Precursor Productions got a really beautiful master done on it, and it's about to get sent off for vinyl production to deliver to the people that purchased it on Kickstarter. Now, if you missed that, or if you just want to listen to it, whatever, it's available all over the place. You can buy a digital download of it from Bandcamp, or you can stream it wherever you stream music, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. I also put a full-length video of the entire album on YouTube so that you can stream it in the background. It's great for any sort of dark gaming. I also finished and released this. This is Guardians of the Seventh Tower, and this is an album that I wrote and released under the name Black Magic Craft, and it's a dungeon synth album for gaming as well. Now, if you're not familiar with dungeon synth, it's a wonderful genre of music and it fits perfectly with RPGs, especially those of the vintage variety, and they're a good time. It's one of my favorite genres of music, and I highly suggest you check it out. Just type dungeon synth into Spotify or YouTube or whatever, and pick the first playlist and just dive into your newfound favorite genre of music. After that, or before it, check out this album. I also have it up on Bandcamp, Spotify, all the other streaming platforms. I have a full-length YouTube video where you can stream the album, and I released it on cassette tape, which I know some of you have thought is rather strange, which I find kind of funny. Cassette tapes are still very alive and well in a lot of underground genres of music, dungeon synth being one of them. It's a perfect match for the genre of music, and I got a bunch of copies pressed on cassette tape, and you can buy those from my website or on Bandcamp. And listen, if you don't listen to cassette tapes, although I think you're missing out, it's a great way to collect physical media these days. You can still buy the tape. It's priced really cheap. It's $15. You get the digital download with it. If you buy it on Bandcamp, you'll get the digital download right away on your account. If you buy one of these tapes, there's a card inside so that you can get the digital download. And for $15, you can just put it on your shelf and have a cool limited edition keepsake. But if you're not into that sort of thing, like I said, you can stream it on whatever platform you want. Play it in the background of your games. Between the Idol soundtrack and this one, they're very different. And they're going to suit very different moods of game. So it's really exciting that I've been able to unleash both upon the world at the same time. And now a lot of this cassette kind of work with
Hello there, traveler. I am Lord Square Spacius, and I am here to offer you an unbeatable, unmatchable, unparalleled, sensational opportunity to expand your presence across the World Wide Web. Do you require a website to share and sell your wares? Are you afraid of the complications that come with designing your own website? Well, I have good news for you. With Squarespace's easy-to-use templates, you can design whatever your heart desires in only minutes, even if you have no proficiency bonus in coding or web design. Head to Squarespace using the link in my description and start your free trial. And then, when you are ready to unleash your powerful new website, use the code BLACKMAGICCRAFT to save 10% on your first domain or website.
Along with this cassette tape, I kind of got to work with one of my other newfound favorite creative processes, which is block printing. I made the artwork for this by carving an original block stamp. Not only did I, scan that and use it for the cover, but I made some copies that are hard copies, stamped by me, handmade, signed. You can buy these along with the tape or on their own, again, from the website or the Bandcamp. Speaking about buying things, I'll just mention it now that I'm trying to clear out this studio. For various reasons, I'm trying to make room, and one of the ways I'm doing that is by decluttering some of my old builds. I've already sold a bunch of them. Some of you already have them. But if you check on blackmagiccraft.ca, I have and will be listing more of my old builds that you can buy and keep in your collection and use for your own games. So help me make some space, help me generate some revenue for the channel, all while getting something cool, if you're into that sort of thing. Now, why do I want to get rid of stuff? Why do I need more room? There's a whole bunch of things converging here. Over the past couple of years, I have fallen out of playing RPGs. I used to play D&D all the time, very regularly. And not only was that a great fun experience for myself as a gamer and a great way to hang out with friends, it was a great way to generate ideas for this channel. But there was a domino effect of several things that happened. One was the pandemic that kind of shut down gaming for a long time. And then jumping into developing Idols of Torment. That meant that all my creative energy and time that wasn't spent on making videos was spent on developing that game. And any time I had to play a game was spent playing that game to test it. But now that that project has wrapped up and we're moving on to the next phase of it, I do have some more creative space in my head and time in my schedule to play more games. And I don't want to just only play skirmish games and stuff. I really want to get back into playing RPGs because that is my first true love. And as I've been thinking about reestablishing a group, starting a new campaign, I realized that I'm just really not excited about Dungeons and Dragons specifically. Jumping back into 5th edition doesn't excite me, nor does the new edition that's coming out. Nothing controversial, I'm not getting into any of that stuff. It's just the setting and stuff is so plain. It's like plain yogurt. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't tickle that part of my brain. It just seems very generic. Also, the book is bad. My daughter is going to D&D camp this summer at a gaming cafe with her best friend. So to get them ready for that, I broke out 5th edition, helped them make some characters so they could, get their head around the proper rules and how to do that. Ran a little session for them, and it really just reminded me how poorly laid out that book is. It had been a while since I had created a character in it, and it's awful. So that means that I want to run another system. And I've been digging into other systems lately. I'm a slow reader, but I've been reading and flipping through these 3 books specifically. They're the ones that are tickling that part of my brain right now. And these are all indie OSR RPGs that share some sort of vibe or tradition with like classic AD&D, all in their own ways. And within these, I'm finding that excitement. They are all rules light, creatively strong, and very inspiring aesthetically. I don't know which one I'm going to play. Maybe all of them, or most likely some house rule version of one of them. I am focusing some energy and time to learn some new gaming systems so that I can jump into running some new games. And I'm just really excited about that. I'm not gonna lie, already I have been thinking about a new setting. That setting has already kind of popped up on the channel a little bit. This soundtrack takes place in that setting. This tower lives in that setting. And I'm excited to develop it further. And I will likely, if all goes well and I run with it, if I get really into it, I will likely release some sort of like book or module or something, maybe my own rule set, whatever. But that setting is going to be my next little creative venture that I'm working on. And I'm really excited. Time and creative energy is not the only thing that has been in the way of playing games. This room started as a game room that was part-time, sort of used as a YouTube studio. And over time, it has completely shifted into only being a YouTube studio. Like, especially during the pandemic when I couldn't have anyone here, I basically gave up every comfort and thing that made sense for playing games in order to streamline video production. And what that created was a room that was good for making YouTube videos, but horrible to hang out in and play games. One, the lighting was just like all over the place and really uncomfortable to be in. It might look good on camera, but it sucks to hang out in. So one of the things I did this past week was take down a bunch of big LED light fixtures, as well as my big, huge, far too big main LED light sheet in this room, and replace it with a smaller one and a set of normal, typical track lighting. Frees up ceiling space, you don't feel as overwhelmed with the stuff there, but also the lighting is just nicer to sit in and hang out and play games. The bigger problem I needed to solve was tables. At some point, I had gotten rid of my gaming table because it sucked for making YouTube videos and for crafting, and replaced it with just some IKEA like work desks. And they can be split apart and put back together to make a bigger surface area to play on. And that's great. And I used that for gaming for a while. But then at some point, I wanted to get rid of all the ceiling rigging that had cameras and microphones and stuff on it. And I attached it all to a rig on one of these tables. And that worked pretty good for filming videos. But that meant that like it was a non-usable table for playing games, which was horrible. So I was left with only the one small one. And that's not enough. So I took that rig apart and I built something new. It's a much larger wood frame rig that is separate from the table so that when I'm not filming videos and I want to play games, I can roll it off to the side and put it away. And I have two clear tables that can be put together for a big space. And there's just not a big cage around me or the players getting in the way, feeling awkward. So all of these things together are kind of laying this foundational path for me to get back to my roots of just playing games with my friends, RPGs specifically. I'm really excited to do that. So that's where I'm at creatively, mentally, in my head and in my space. I don't know where this channel is going next in terms of builds and whatnot, and that's okay. I'm just having a great time exploring all these little creative ventures, getting back to the things that, you know, got me started with this channel. So yeah, check out blackmagicraft.ca, grab some of the stuff I mentioned, listen to the music I mentioned I put out. I love to hear what you think about it. Would love to hear what adventures take place with it in the background. That's it, that's all. I will see you again next time. Cheers.